Hello! It's Lad here again. I am back for making more hills. You might have noticed in the last video there was a lot of times where I was just building. It's really hard for me to build and talk at the same time, and that's why I ended up speeding up a lot of things I was talking about. So that's something I need to improve on, I guess. As I said a lot, and I also noticed the sounds of the placing of the dirt was also super loud, so I'm fixing that. I did fix that by turning down the master volume of the game. And we're going to turn this part into a time lapse of just me placing a bunch of dirt. So I hope you enjoy it. I might add some music into the background. Enjoy the show! Kind of dark, so I think I'll turn up the brightness. I think that'll help out a lot. I think that's a little bit better. Back to the task at hand. Aha! Sunrise again. Fred, look. The sunrise is back. Remember the sunrise? You remember it? Yeah? Good job. Good job, little sheepy. I'm getting back to work. Okay, so let's look at this work. So on this side, there's a giant hole in the middle. Okay, from this side, it looks pretty natural. I'd call that pretty cool. On this side, however, yeah, there's a gaping hole and blocks that are just floating. I think I did pretty well on that little part, though. I'm getting faster at this. I'm getting better. So I feel good about that. Other than that, I just need to, keep building. Well, as I'm working on this part of the hill, I find myself thinking like, oh, do I need to shorten some of these hills? Do some of these hills need to be shortened to look more natural? And the thing is, there's no right answer to that. When building things like this, and setting parameters for yourself, chances are, yes, you might want to change the height of some of the hills, but at the same time, when building organics, there's no way you can't fix something and make it look right. There's always a way, and it just takes creativity and perseverance. That's something I feel has a parallel in life as well. When we've set ourselves up in a certain way and we've done certain things that we think, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that, I probably should have done something else. A a lot of those times it's too late to change anything. But it's important when you're going through life and figuring these things out that you get creative and you can always make it work out in your favor. I think that's a very powerful thing. I think it's very powerful that I can come to this kind of conclusion just from terraforming in Minecraft. It's a very meditative game, and I know even after saying all that, I really do think this hill's too high, and this one too. I got a bit carried away. I want to make a sort of ridge line along this area, so it's like an alcove that encompasses my little forest hut, because that's gonna go right here. So as you can see, it kind of did that here, and I have a little opening into this area. I put a tree on top of there because as I was making this, I realized this looked really cool, and I wanted to make that kind of a root structure for a custom tree, and so I just put this down as a reminder so that I can do that. And on top of that, I think it might be a good template so I can get like a natural tree shape to work off of, and I can just add branches coming off of it and roots coming off of it. That might be a good idea for the future. Well, I'm going to start another time lapse, and for this time lapse, I think I'll tell a story instead of playing some music. Okay, voiceover Lad here. I'm not actually Lad. Lad is just my Minecraft character. My pseudonym is Starless, which is the god of the universe that I write about, because I am the writer, therefore I am the god of this universe. So Lad is just a character that I play. Lad is a character from a book I haven't written yet, but they, in my opinion, have one of the most dynamic personalities, and so I very much enjoy playing games in behalf of their kind of personality. So Lad is a wood elf from a planet called Calais. They have narcissistic tendencies and a fascination for pirates and witchcraft. Whereas I'm an author and composer. I write books and I write songs, and I'm a bit stage frighty, but so doing online media is a lot more comfortable for me. And I just want to talk a little bit about why I asked you guys in my previous video to give me your idea of perfect happiness. So, over COVID, when that was a whole thing, it was end of the school year, and I was talking with my friend over video chat, and we got kind of bored, and we were just kind of sitting on the video chat looking at each other, and my friend's dad says, "Hey, why don't you look up Proust's question?" So Marcel Proust, I don't know much about who he is, probably some sort of philosopher, but he developed a list of questions that are super deep and very good for getting to know someone. Excuse my yawn. So we decided to go through these questions together. And the question that sat with me most and that I enjoy the most was the question, what is your idea of perfect happiness? And I just think that question is my favorite question to ask people when I'm first getting to know them. Just like, hey, what's your idea of perfect happiness? And usually they're like, what the heck? Why would you ask that? So I don't often get answers, but when I do get answers, and after a while of thinking, they come to me and they're like, hey, I think happiness, perfect happiness can exist, or I think perfect happiness would be spending forever with my family. And just a second, I'm about to get interrupted by Vlad. How on earth did I do that? first. Okay, lad. So anyway, some of the other questions on that list are what is your greatest achievement, your greatest regret? Where do you want to die? If you were to die and come back as a person or thing, what would it be? Those are just ones that I can name off the top of my head. And that's just one of my favorite ways to get to know people while avoiding small talk. And I just wanted to incorporate that into my videos a little bit. So if you want to comment on this video, I'd like to know what your greatest achievement is. And while we're at it, I'll talk about my idea of perfect happiness. So, my idea of perfect happiness is progress. I like it when I'm constantly growing and getting better. Look at that. We did all those hills that we marked out. I am very proud of myself for doing all that. And it looks a bit flatter than I thought it would, but that's going to change once we add the custom trees and different landmarks as well. So I'm going to start off on this one since I already have marked out where I want the roots to be. And I want to see where it takes me. So we can put this stuff away. And get up some oak and leaves. That's spruce, not dark oak. There we go. This way I don't have to worry as much about the grain. In a survival world, this would be a bit more problematic since it takes more wood to have each side be grain. But in this case, it's okay because I don't have to do anything. I literally just summoned it out of the ether and it bends to my whims. And honestly, who doesn't want that in life? If you don't want anything to bend to your whims in life, then what are you doing? I just realized I messed this up because I wanted it to be an opening. I wanted it to actually look like a root. Okay. And still, I am very well aware that I'm not the best at shaping when it comes to this kind of terraforming. However, I think this looks pretty decent for what I've done today. And next things up is to just move on to the top of it. I want these to be whimsical and beautiful, so I'm just going to tear away a few leaves so I have something to work off of. I want them to be thick. I want to think of fairy tales when I see them. I want them to have many leaves and many branches. And I just want them to be thick and full and beautiful. So the way I have it now, you can't see any of the trunk. It would have been great if I had made the trunk a little taller, but right now I just think this is a bit out of proportion. So what I'm going to do to fix that is after rounding it out a bit more, I'm going to go in and thin it out. Because right now it's just a big block of leaves, but I want to actually be able to see the branches. And so that just requires me going through between some of the branches and creating little paths where you can see through the branches, and it makes it look less like a blob of leaves. Okay, I think that helped out a lot, making it look less like a blob and more defined branches. I still think I have a long way to go um, in terms of making custom trees, but good thing I have an entire forest, an entire island just waiting for me to make custom trees everywhere. So, I think I'll call it for the day. I got a lot done. I did all these hills, finished all my hills before I just did 5, and now I did like 10. And I did a tree, which I wasn't planning to do, but I did a tree. And I think that's pretty good. And not only did I do a tree and 10 hills, I also named the sheep Hortensia the Destroyer. So I think that also counts as a feat of immense, immense progress. So with that, I leave this to you. A nice high five. And you can comment below giving me any tips if you have any tips for building custom trees or hills. Or if you just want to say hi, I welcome hellos. They make me happy. With that, I bid thee farewell.